This program includes references to eating disorders.
I think you're kind of an outsider if you don't engage with social media in a way. It's definitely conflicting. It brings me joy, but then it's also been a contributing factor to how I became so unwell. I had nurses checking on me in the night because I was at risk of my bones protruding through my skin. I was on my deathbed. I became somebody who fit into this very tiny little box.
"23-year-old Luca has spent most of her life online.
I first joined social media when I was 9 years old.
9 years old, is that feels early.
It was early.
Okay.
I had like this whole healthy eating account and would post photos of like my food. It was very obsessive. I thought it was just being healthy, but like looking back on it, my interest in being healthy was unhealthy, if that makes sense.
What kind of stuff were you looking at?
I remember seeing, you know, people's exercise routines and their diets and what they ate, and I don't think I was, as a 9-year-old, was actively looking for that stuff. I think that's what came up.
Scroll on social media for long enough and you'll see a certain type of content is on the rise.
Being skinny is simply just not being a gluttonous little pig.
There's everybody saying they want to be skinny, but nobody's willing to be a little bit hungry.
Restricted meals, routine workouts, ruthless words.
Oh, you had a long day? So did everyone else at the gym right now.
All in the name of self-improvement.
And let me tell you, life is better on a skinny side. Everything is better.
This is the world of thinfluencers, social media content creators who sell extreme weight loss.
You strive for that one goal, to be the thinnest, to be the most in control, to be the sickest, to be suffering the most, to be the most underweight, to be the most afraid of food. It's like eating disorder Olympics. So this is my room.
Oh, it's so cute.
Luca has lived with anorexia nervosa for more than a decade. One of Australia's deadliest mental illnesses.
When I was 13 years old, I was scouted by a high-profile modelling agency, and I felt like that was something I was good at or something that I could be recognised for. And I looked at a lot of models online, and I looked at a lot of their what I eat in a day videos, and I would try and copy them because I thought that that would help me be a model.
And did it?
No, I don't think following that did anything other than ruin my life. Yeah.
Luca's been in treatment for 6 years and is now in recovery. She also now has her own online following.
Can we take a look at your Instagram?
Yeah. Of course.
What's the vibe of this Instagram?
The vibe I hope I give off is somebody who's just fun and young and likes thinking about beauty and all that stuff. What every other girl my age is probably thinking about.
So it says at the top here, same account minus the toxicity. Hate will be blocked.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So I had an account before this that had 5 times the amount of followers.
Okay.
And it was so toxic. And I would get death threats. Like, it was really intense. And I was like, I'm getting death threats for being thin. Like, God forbid somebody have anorexia, you know?
Luca says her previous account was reported to Instagram multiple times over concerns her content was violating the platform's guidelines around the promotion of eating disorders. Her new account already has 11,000 followers.
If I click on this photo,
Yeah.
some people would look at this and question whether this is truly about the fashion in the photo. What would you say to them?
I would say it's not about the fashion, it's about my eyelashes.
Looking at this account, are you an influencer?
I would say that there's a difference between a person who's a thinfluencer and a person who has anorexia. I'm not a thinfluencer, I'm not thin. I have a mental illness, and that's the root of everything. Doesn't matter if you're overweight or underweight, you're a human being and you deserve to have a place in the world, to take up space. But I'm aware that if I am wearing a backless dress, that it's going to show parts of my body that are triggering to many people. Is that safe and responsible? I don't know. I don't know.
Luca worries about the attention her body attracts. But for other creators, controversy can be good for business. 4 popular American influencers agreed to be interviewed for this story, each of them with huge followings built on provocative messaging.
When you're gonna overeat, remember the space? Don't do it. Don't. If you want this body, don't do it.
But when I questioned if their content has the potential to cause harm,
I don't want to just be effortless and fairy-like when I feel like a fat turd.
all 4 backed out. One creator I spoke to later posted a video to her Instagram account.
I got some emails from Dateline doing a thinfluencer documentary.
Sharing how confronted she felt.
I don't know if it was the fact that I would be considered into that category of being the person that would influence a young girl. Sorry, we don't even talk about it right now. That's so not my mission whatsoever. I love being thin, I love being skinny, and that ruined my life trying to be that way. And all I've wanted to do is help women be that way without being stuck in a needy.
These creators say their content is intended for adults, and any potential harm is not their fault. So, who is responsible for the harms this content could cause? Increasingly, attention is turning to the platforms that host it. Here in the US, big tech is on trial. Families across the country are claiming social media companies expose their kids to harmful content, and they're still reeling from the consequences. So, I've come to California to meet one mother who's joined the fight.
She would play a different sport every season, and she would always excel at it, whatever sport it happened to be. We did track here, we did tennis down there, we did basketball in the gym. So we used to come here all the time.
Naveen's daughter was a competitive athlete in high school. But when COVID hit in the middle of track season, she was homebound.
She was mostly just devastated that she wasn't going to be in shape when she got back to school. So she was only at this school about 6 months before she got sick.
During lockdown, Naveen's daughter, who we're not naming for her privacy, started spending more time on social media. She was looking to stay fit and get a makeover before returning to school.
It's the story of every single teenage movie ever. So she set out to do it the way kids in the 21st century do it. They use social media.
And what kind of stuff was she actually searching for? What was she typing in?
Healthy meals. And then those very quickly spiraled out of control.
At the time, she was 15 and searching for healthy meals, but was quickly served videos promoting extreme dieting.
She'd click on one of those "what I eat in a day" videos, and the majority of them were like how to stay under 500 calories a day. Eat a cup of yogurt and an apple.
Before long, she developed a severe eating disorder that began to consume their home life.
It was just this ongoing game of cat and mouse with her. There was one particular time we were actually sitting just like you and I are sitting here, and I had given her food, and I was sitting here watching her eat. I mean, the food was disappearing off the plate, but I couldn't see her eat at all.
How was she doing it?
Her sleeve had all of her scrambled eggs in it.
Naveen felt she could no longer keep her daughter safe at home, and so she was admitted to hospital. The years of treatment took their toll.
It destroyed our relationship. I mean, it bombed it to smithereens. And for so many years, I wasn't just dealing with her illness and trying to keep her alive. I was grieving this relationship that I lost with my child because I didn't know if I was ever going to get it back.
After years of watching her daughter's illness worsen, Naveen believes social media only accelerated her downward spiral. She's now asking questions of the companies behind the content.
Why would you show a child that? They put warning labels on porn, on alcohol ads, on cigarette ads, so why not this? Why show them something that can kill them?
Is that why you're suing them?
Yes, because they nearly killed my daughter.
Across the US, thousands of people like Naveen are suing social media companies for endangering their children.
You've been served.
In March 2026, a US jury ruled that platforms including Meta's Facebook and Instagram, as well as Google's YouTube, are deliberately addictive and harmful to children.
Meta and YouTube just lost a lawsuit that could completely change social media forever.
Legal experts are comparing this to the tobacco trials of the 1990s. That's when the juries stopped blaming the smokers and started blaming the tobacco companies.
This is going to open the floodgates for people to sue social media platforms because they get addicted to them.
TikTok and Snapchat settled out of court. Both Meta and Google are appealing the verdict.
Teen mental health is profoundly complex and cannot be linked to a single app.
There are currently more than 10,000 similar cases pending. But for Naveen, no verdict can give her family back the years they lost.
I'm angry that such a humongous part of our life has been taken by these people. And not just taken, but they've taken it and made billions of dollars because of it. I watched my child go through things no parent should ever watch their child go through.
Naveen's daughter is now in recovery and at university and doesn't want to reflect on this time in her life. But she says she's proud of her mum for her advocacy work, shining a light on how eating disorders impact families.
She says, I know you do it, I'm proud of you, but I choose not to think about it. Which is unfortunately, for me, a very big sign that she's still struggling.
But are you hopeful for your relationship with her and for you all as a family?
Yes. There was a stretch of a few years where I didn't have any hope. There were days where, I wasn't sure she was going to wake up, and so I'm definitely hopeful.
For many families like Naveen's, the verdicts are only the beginning. Here in San Francisco, the tech capital of the US, attention is now turning to regulation. But deciding how platforms should police content online becomes murky very quickly. Regulating social media is complicated because these platforms are a bit like a bookstore. Some sections could be genuinely harmful to young people, while others offer them a place to connect and even find support. So the question becomes, where does protection end and censorship begin? Corinne McSherry is the legal director at the Electronic Frontier Foundation, an organisation that advocates for rights in the digital world.
I've shed no tears for Meta or Google or any of these, right? But I worry a lot about the precedents that they're going to set for other platforms.
In 2025, Australia introduced a world-first blanket social media ban for under 16s, designed to shield children from harmful content.
Social media is doing harm to our kids, and I'm calling time on it.
The UK has followed suit, and America is considering its own policy shift.
The legislature has a responsibility to step in and protect young people.
But early studies show some 75% of Australian teens are already skirting the rules. What's your read on the ban?
I think it's a real mistake for at least two principal reasons. One is, as a practical matter, how are you going to enforce that ban without having everybody have to prove their age, including adults? Additionally, though, sometimes what happens is the most marginalized kids are the people who most need to get online and find community, and those are exactly the kids who might have a hard time like getting permission from their parents.
Corinne argues the ban is more about sending a message than solving the problem.
Kids are smart. They're going to get around it. They're going to use the VPNs. They're going to get around this ban. And it doesn't matter whether it works, and it doesn't matter if it hurts anybody. As long as you say, I'm protecting children, their default is to say, okay, well, I'm for children. I like children. Don't you like children? And then we vote for a thing, even though it doesn't make sense.
Corinne worries the recent trials will only give big tech more power over what kids see online.
I also want to protect the children. I want to protect children's right to access information. But what we're basically doing is saying, Facebook, Google, we would like you to decide what's harmful and then get rid of all of it. And that'll be up to you. It won't be up to families, won't be up to parents or kids themselves. It'll just be up. It's sort of ironic. We are just like, big tech, please decide for us what we should see and what we shouldn't see. One thing you could really do that would protect everybody is have real privacy protections. They're collecting a lot of information about you, and then they use that to target you. Well, maybe we could make it a little harder to target people.
She believes platforms should do more to protect users from harmful content they didn't ask to see.
It's not just that someone went searching, something went searching for them. And that doesn't happen by accident.
How content reaches us can seem complicated and unclear. But through the recent legal cases, whistleblowers are revealing how these systems really work.
And this is an old church?
Church of the Internet.
Church of the Internet. Okay, it's where all the history is stored.
And the future, hopefully.
The Internet Archive in San Francisco hosts a version of the Internet where information simply exists to be explored, shared, and accessed by anyone. Matt Motel spent years at Meta, analysing the algorithms that influence what billions of people see on social media.
So when you open Facebook or Instagram, you see a bunch of content, but that content is ordered in different ways for everybody. So my job was to figure out how to change that system so that the good stuff is at the top ahead of bad stuff.
What is good stuff and bad stuff?
That's the great question.
Social media content exists on a continuum. At one end is content that's harmless, At the other is content that clearly violates platform guidelines. And then there's the content in between, designed to keep users watching.
We kind of call this Zuck's Law informally, where essentially, as a piece of content gets closer to that line of being violated, the more engagement it's going to get.
If I'm someone that's searching innocently for fitness content or healthy recipes, how quickly could I realistically go from what I searched to something unconnected and possibly harmful?
Very quickly. And not all platforms are created equally.
When you search anorexia on Google, the algorithm prioritizes support resources. Meta recently introduced similar safeguards, but potentially harmful content is still just one click away. There have been safeguards like teen Instagram and things like that that have been introduced, parental controls, that kind of thing. Are those safeguards effective?
They sound good, they look good, but at the end of the day, people aren't accessing them or using them. And again, I think that this is an instance of safety theater, not meaningful true safety.
In mid-June, Meta announced new safety measures for teens, adding stronger restrictions to sensitive content. As lawsuits against Meta grow, so too does scrutiny of whistleblowers like Matt.
If someone speaks out against Meta or any of the big companies, that is a black mark on their record. Be prepared to say goodbye to your career in tech.
He says the company is working to silence former insiders before they can testify.
They don't want the people that know how things work and did the research or launched the products or worked on these systems to talk about what they know. And they are taking all of the legal actions that they can to prevent us from speaking out.
Platforms like Facebook were built with the ambition to connect the world, but the systems powering that connection have also amplified some of its darkest content. Facebook's original motto was move fast and break things. Have things been broken?
Oh, there's no question. Because the company knows ways to give people the content that they actually want. We know how to reduce most of these harms. We built and tested most of these features. So they know how to fix the problem. It's just a matter of, do they want to?
On social media, images of extremely thin bodies are reaching millions of young people. And around the world, families are grappling with the consequences.
We're on our phones all day, right? Yeah. So it's nice just to have a break.
Yeah. Luca's recovery is ongoing, but the content she says fueled her eating disorder is still everywhere online.
Oh gosh, your feeds are just flooded with this stuff, right? Whether it's fasting, whether it's, eating 8 small meals a day, whether it's eating this many grams of protein, or you just get bombarded with this stuff every single day.
It just consumes you, and it can consume anyone. It can come from people who have the most loving, supportive families to people who live in horrible family environments. It's just, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Have there been moments of celebration or special moments that you feel like this illness has robbed you of?
Oh my God, are you joking? Wow. Every birthday, every Easter, we've got all these other alternative Easter presents for Luca that aren't related to food because I didn't want her to miss out. I've made Luca's birthday cake every single year of her life, and she hasn't eaten one for 7 years, and it's like, but she still wants me to make her one. Oh. This is not someone who just wanted to be skinny for summer.
The battle against big tech is being driven by parents seeking answers and demanding change. Some are fighting to protect their children. Others are fighting in their memory.
You know, there are so many parents in these lawsuits that lost children. These companies don't really understand that what's done is done.
Luca wishes big tech's reckoning had come sooner.
4 weeks and 4 days ago, I was filling out an end-of-life form with my family because if I don't recover, I'll die.
What is it like living each day knowing that that's a possibility?
Scary, really scary, and you have to realise that if you engage with the eating disorder, it's driving you to your grave.
Do you think with everything that you've gone through that social media has had a positive influence on you?
Social media, it didn't give me an eating disorder. I feel that social media perpetuated the eating disorder through social media forums, pictures of thin people, through what I eat in a day videos from models. Without all that, would it have gotten this bad? Absolutely not. But I think it is possible for social media to be a component of a person's life who is in recovery. It shouldn't be something that is full-time, but I think in doses, in a healthy way, it is possible.
Dateline contacted Meta and TikTok with questions regarding the issues raised in this program. A Meta spokesperson said the company takes its role in supporting teen well-being seriously and continues to invest in technology that finds and removes content related to eating disorders before anyone reports it. The company says it will also continue listening to parents, experts, and regulators to make improvements. A TikTok spokesperson said the platform does not allow content that depicts, promotes, normalizes, or glorifies eating disorders, and searches for such content redirect users to support services.
If this program raises concerns for you or someone you know, reach out for support. Key national support services include Butterfly Foundation National Helpline 1-800 33 46 73, butterfly.org.au, Lifeline 13 11 14, lifeline.org.au, Kids Helpline 1-800 55 1800, kidshelpline.com.au, reachout, reachout.com.